the scenery. Your lure was pulverizing, absorbing light and slowing time. Just how could I brace for impact in the garden of your poor design? Still I'm waiting for the colors to return to the scenery. Desperate words of bleeding fever, while you'd collapse and disappear. Your rising sparks would gather motion, illuminating the dogs drawn to your fears. On this lonely trail between us, I watch my shadow drag a busted crutch. The only rules of love and battle, to ask for nothing is to ask too much, too much, too much. To ask for nothing is to ask too much, too much, too much. Still pulsing, bending circles from broken lines. We were only seeking shelter, but all roads are simply searching for a place to die. So we're waiting for the colors to return to the scenery.
Hello and welcome to another edition of 20 Question Tuesdays, everybody. I am Jeff Plankenhorn, and this is 20 Question Tuesdays. And you were just listening to Magnetic Fields, which is a song by our guest today, Mr. Eric Bettencourt. Real quick, just a little bit of housekeeping. Thanks everybody for tuning in every week here on Austin Music TV, which your cable channel in Austin is channel 16, unless you are on ATTU verse, in which case it's channel 99. So, a couple things there. First of all, we really love everything they're doing at Austin Music TV, and really, really happy to be a part of the family there. I started this 20 Question Tuesday thing early on in the pandemic. One day, 11 a.m. on a Tuesday here on the West Coast, up on Vancouver Island, where my wife and I are waiting out the pandemic. Usually we're in Austin, Texas. A little bit of both. We're kind of people of two countries. And I turned on the camera and I just started taking questions, and it was awesome. People just talking about music, talking about my songwriting, talking about all different kind of stuff. And people from all walks of life started coming in and asking questions. Some about songwriting, some about guitar, some about this, some about that, and it was just so beautiful. So when Sheila Steele asked me to put this on the cable channel, I noticed in my Restream app thing that there was a thing where I could invite people. And I thought that would just be even more interesting. And what I really, really love about this whole thing is that it's your questions that fuel what we're doing. Like I said, just a little bit of housekeeping. Let's see. This weekend there will be a Resentment show, and that will also be on Austin Music TV. That's on Sunday. You can go to the check out the Resentments page if you want to find out about that. And then, of course, tonight I'll be doing my regular From Here to There show, which is on all these same channels on the web at 8 p.m. Central. And there's all sorts of other stuff going on right now. Make sure, let's see, Kevin Russell's doing a thing called the Artsy Rib Fry kind of Christmas special. I'm going to be involved in that. That's really, really cool. All sorts of stuff going on. Ooh, and we got more questions coming in. So I got to make sure that I get these questions down for all of you people that are online. Also, thank you, everybody. We will split tips for the show, and we'll just do those here. And I'll just put that up every once in a while. It's very nice to support your underemployed musicians right now. Otherwise, it's just really, really wonderful to have you all here. But without further ado, and I can't think of anything else that's going on. Except one other thing. Spotify playlist that I have. Maybe Danielle will put that link up. It's Roots Rock and Americana. It features our guest, Eric Bettencourt. And we're already up to like 115 followers on that thing. So if you do listen to Spotify, that would be a cool thing to do. If you like doing that sort of thing. I like to say streams for everyone. More streams for everyone. That's what it's all about. Kate Howard says she has a live stream on Monday, 12/14 at 5 p.m. That's in the comments as well. Feel free to put as much as you want in there. Thank you so much. And without further ado, I already said that. Here comes Mr. Eric Bettencourt, everybody. Hello, Eric. Can you hear me, buddy? You are so soft and echoing. Something changed. Maybe we got to redo those settings for you real quick. Remember how I told you something always goes wrong during these shows?
Yeah, I mean, I get the same thing set.
Well,
really, really quiet, huh?
yeah, it's a lot quieter. Let me see what's going on my end. We did a sound check, everybody, I swear. Yeah, I'm going to have to hit echo cancellation, I guess, which is yuck. But I'm hearing myself echo and
I'm gonna put it through the line in. Does that work at all?
One, two. Oh, that's so better.
Is it?
Yeah, you blast out a little.
Okay.
But the echo's still there.
The echo. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Try that.
I know why.
How's that? Oh, then
Check
I can't hear.
1, 2. Check 1, 2. Still echoing. You know what? I'm gonna try and go on speakers. Just very softly. Let's see if that works. Hi, everybody. Yeah, and everybody's saying intense echo from Jeff. Wow. Remember how I told you that something goes wrong every week? Here we are. It's the beauty of the technology. Who can hear me? Eric, can you hear me now? Yes? Eric, I don't hear you.
At all, check 1, 2.
There you are.
Okay.
Okay, now about echo.
How about now?
Tell my friends out in TV land, let me know if you're hearing echo.
Man, I don't know why. It's just, I
It was
really
great
wish.
during the sound check, huh?
Check 1, 2. It was great. Oh, there we go. Now it's registering like it wasn't before. Is this better, by chance?
Maybe.
Can you can hear me?
It's definitely better on your end. I can hear you.
I'm really sorry.
Great.
I don't know.
I don't think it's you,
Check
man. Something's up with this.
Check 1. Yeah. Well, it wasn't.
There before.
So after we hung up, it did. The Google Chrome crashed my whole notebook, which I haven't had happen since. And I never used Chrome, but I was like, all right, Plank wants Chrome, so it just crashed. It was like took it right out. I was like, whoa.
Okay.
So, we'll see.
It sounds like I'm echoing everywhere.
I don't hear any echo on your end, by the way, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, everybody hearing it.
Okay.
Echo is awful. Oh, man, Restream, you're gonna have to give me a free week of this, because this is bad. I'm gonna do a quick refresh. Eric, you stay right there.
I will do.
All right. Hang on, everybody.
We really did have this down. Audio on Eric's video is crappy. Good on you.
Hello again. No, still echoing like crazy. Well, that is terribly annoying. I know what to do. Let's try it old school. Sorry, everybody. It's this touch of unprofessionalism that I'm told makes me so lovable.
Audio good. My video's crappy, it says. I don't know what to do about that. It looks.
How about now?
Everything sounds good to me, but that's just me.
But it's still echoing. It's echoing with headphones. That's terrible. Such a yucky sound.
So, does this take echo away for me?
Your echo is not the problem. My echo is the problem.
Okay.
You're fine. I'm echoing through everybody's stuff. And it's really annoying. Well, let me try one more thing, everybody. You know what I should do? Is just have you play a song.
Yeah, you want me to do that? Would that bail you out?
Not really, because I've still got to check the microphone. What really stinks is that it worked great in sound check, like it does every week, and now it's doing this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of where else I could change it.
I've got all my other volumes shut.
You know, I just said the same thing, Barbara, but I can't. David Hamburger says, if Eric mutes, are you still echoing?
I'm going to mute right now.
Check 1, 2. Am I still echoing, everybody? Am I still echoing? Oh, it's because I'm going through Eric's speakers back into his mic.
Yeah, there's no speakers running. That's what
In
I was
your
trying
room?
to. Well, so yeah, there's no speakers. Check 1, 2. There's nothing.
But when you mute,
it's definitely sending something through.
Yeah, so it is on your end. So there's no echo on my end. Something on your end is making me echo.
Okay, so let me try this then.
That's okay, everybody. We're just going to take 2 seconds, and we're going to get this right for you, because it was working during
P.S. I can't hear you. I'm switching
no
a
problem.
thing over.
Everybody, thank you, David Hamburger,
Sorry,
for figuring this out. It's okay. Once again, this is 20 Question Tuesdays. And, you know, we were talking about tips, and if you're going to give tips, hey, there's no echo anymore.
Okay. Can you hear me, though?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe you have fixed it.
Okay, well, I guess, yeah, we couldn't have tested for that earlier when it sounded so good, because we weren't hearing it from...
I'm putting my dang earbuds back in. Hold on one sec.
Yeah. I guess I was routing the sound back in. I can't hear myself, but that doesn't matter. As long as you're saying it sounds fine, then I don't care.
You were talking for a while, but I couldn't hear you. But there's no echo anymore. Let's get right into it. And then we'll talk later about what happened.
We're down to 12 questions.
Everybody, welcome to Eric Bettencourt. We've got great people here. All these sorts of people. David Hamburger's here hanging out. Danielle's here. Karen Hudson. Paige Turner, who actually, I think that's a great pseudonym, by the way. Paige Turner. Like, get it?
I am wearing headphones, though, but...
Get it? This is when my wife goes, yeah, we get it, honey. All right. Well, we've got lots and lots and lots of great questions, so I want to jump in. First of all, our friend Dan Jason wants to know. Dan Jason has a really, really incredible thing that he does on YouTube, and he records tons of music in Austin, and you could spend days and days and days and not go over all the music.
Hell yeah.
He wants to know if you did any college, and if so, what did you study?
Yeah, I went to college right out of high school. I actually wanted to go for psychology and biology and all that, like kind of a mix of that. But then the hard sciences stumped me. I wasn't, although I did pretty good in sciences and the biology and stuff in high school, it didn't prepare me for college level. And so I just ended up being like, all right, taking mass communication. And I ended up just focusing mostly in advertising. Is really, after a couple of years of prelim stuff everyone has to take, I just did a couple more years of a lot of design, a lot of art, stuff like that.
You feel like that influenced music in any way? I really don't know very many people who are inclined, either technically or visually, who don't say that it informs their art in some way. What does any of that kind of bear anything on what you do?
Well, of course, yeah, it did. It did. I mean, it gave me, my introduction to computers really in Photoshop, which is huge when you're just trying to make your own advertisements. So, I've been using Photoshop and a little bit in design. I'm trying to get better with the other big one, which is called Adobe Illustrator, which is for vector design. So, but yeah, I mean, I made art a lot as a kid, and it's something I kind of picked up a few years ago and really started to run with again. Like, I decided to read a few college level books on design.
Yeah.
And this was back in like 2015, 16, 17 or something like that. And so that has helped. It has helped a ton. I wanted to know like what's bad design, good design, and just really start to understand it again and refresh myself so that if I'm making my own arts, my own posters, like I don't want them to suck. I mean, you just see so many artists make their own posters and they're just horrendous. And I wanted to know like the atomization. I wanted to see it all broken down to know like what's good, what's bad. I mean, it's all subjective at some level, but there's some of it that's definitely not. There's just bad balance, bad design. So,
Well, sure, and also there's do you have enough money to shop it out to somebody? I know that I've spent a lot of money over the years, whether it's for a single or whether it's for a show or whether it's for an album. I try a lot to enlist friends. Didn't you used to do some of those great posters for the Furs Days?
I did all those, yeah.
Yeah, man, there were so many of those. I loved the artwork.
Oh, thank you.
As someone who is not artistically inclined that way, I'm so envious of the people who have that as an outlet. Again, I tend to think that they all kind of inform each other, not even just in a business sense, but just being able to express yourself. Like I was sitting and I was doing my morning free write the other day, and I was looking out over the bay here, and I just started sketching because I wanted really, really badly. It was just a beautiful view of the view and all that stuff. And then about a half hour later, I was like, I can't even look at this, But
it's a skill. I mean, no doubt it takes. I mean, there's so many areas I wish I was better, but I got enough so that I don't have to. Like, I actually really do. I totally envy people who like focus on one thing, and yeah, like you shop that out. You pay somebody to make a poster. For me, I'm like, ugh, I ain't got $75 to spend, and then you got to haggle with them, and you don't like it, and then you feel bad, and that's why I'm like, what? I'm gonna take a few years and figure out how to do my own posters and my own artwork. Like,
I
to
think
do it
there's
right.
a lot to be. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for that. It's also finding somebody. A lot of people have seen Adrian Quinteros, who's done a ton of stuff for me.
Yeah.
And I love it. And he's a guy that I can go back with. Sometimes I'll be going back and forth with him, and I'll say, hey, ooh, can you fix this one thing? And after a while, he's like, you're killing me, dude. And like he'll just put it like that. He'll just be like, Jeff, please don't make me don't give me the information right off the bat. And that's kind of bad on our part too.
Yeah.
But
It's a big
but
deal.
it's definitely a thing, and it's one of those things that we can DIY. And I'm of the opinion that if we made decent money at what we did, and I'm not complaining because I'm happy, then Bob Dylan wouldn't sell off his catalog for $300 million. So
Good on him.
I know, that's what I say too. But he'd make more over time. But who knows?
All right,
But I like that too. Also, the reason I like that question from Dan too is so many of us started in college and didn't finish, and I personally have always been like, man, like, I mean, that piece of paper would have done nothing for me. I was getting a music degree. And 2 years into it, I just started playing so much out in so many different types of bands. I was never going to finish
Yeah.
with a theory composition degree with classical voice as my instrument, playing in the jazz band, doing whatever I could get my fingers on. But at the same time, a lot of the stuff that I learned there, I will never forget. A lot, and usually it was from people who weren't my teachers, like it was the saxophone professor or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Paige Turner has a really cool question that's kind of off the wall.
Usually
Are
is.
your lyric? What's that?
I said it usually is from her.
Yeah. Are your lyrics intuitive, or do you follow songwriters' themes, or perhaps a mix of both?
I don't. Neither really.
Okay.
I mean, I don't even know what does intuitive mean in that sense. It's like I don't.
Do they just come out of the air? I think
Yeah.
that's what she means.
Yeah, they do. They come out of the air, and I feel like I just come up with images. I mean, as anybody who knows my stuff somewhat knows, I don't really write these beginning, middle, and end songs like people. Like I just can't do it. Like I can't write a story song. What I do is I feel like I come up with cool lines sometimes and like neat images, and it kind of coalesces into something that I understand. And usually I'll start getting excited when I think it's something other people not can necessarily understand, but somehow relate to. Just all these images. Like if it means something to me, it might mean something to somebody else, and I totally don't expect it to mean the same thing because we have different experiences.
Yeah, it would be pretty boring if they did. Hey, Ben Jones, nice to see you out there as well. Larry King, you didn't miss anything, especially because we had a little bit of technical difficulty at the top. Welcome to everybody. Hi, Karen, and hi, Carol, as well.
I gotta say, can I just put a little point on that with when she said the lyrics thing? So one cool hack I find is, and this happens a lot, where I'll be listening to somebody else's song, and it will just inspire a flood of neat lines over it, and so I'll write those down. And I don't know how many of my songs have kind of started like that, and I don't even know what the original songs were. In the end, you think, oh man, it's going to sound the same, but in the end, I don't even remember what the original tunes were, where I got this kind of the stanzas and the structures of the lyric.
Yeah, I can think about 17 other varying levels of songwriter who say similar things. Like an old road manager of Neil Young said that every time he came back to the bus, he would sit down and he would play Beatles tunes. And the road manager said, hey man, like, why don't you ever play those Beatles tunes? He goes, oh, no, I just do this to write. And he said, what do you mean? And he's like, well, you've got the whole palette there. He's like, every time I learn a Beatles tune, I might just like grab 2 chords.
Yeah.
And then go, oh, I got to go write a song. I got 2 chords that fit in an interesting way. And I was also reading a book by Jeff Tweedy, who was talking about himself and Woody Guthrie. Woody Guthrie constantly wrote songs to other people's melodies.
Oh yeah.
So that people could just sing along at shows. And then when Woody Guthrie does it, and does it with his own song, it doesn't sound like anybody but Woody Guthrie. And I think there's definitely a thing where you don't want to steal someone else's words, music, everything put together. Of course you don't want to do that, but generally when you take some stuff and you kind of put it through your own filter, it immediately sounds not like what you thought.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's how you feel about it too. That's pretty cool. I also heard a great hack that I cannot wait to try, and I read it last night. And I know you're going to try this too. Let's say you got a melody and you've got some chords and you have no idea what to do with it. You grab some book off the wall and you just open to a page of a book that you love, that you've read, and you start singing the lyrics. Just like try a bunch of words from that page until you find something and go, I can't wait to try that. Because I mean, really, like you said, just grabbing onto like one image is usually enough to like get something started, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I love that idea, like pick up a Haruki Murakami book. I know you're an avid reader like I am too, so.
I'll have to think about that. I don't know. It doesn't motivate me to think like that, but at the same time, if I was doing a song game again, which I think I'm a bit overdue for, and I probably should, I would definitely use that. Because at that
Yeah.
point, you're just groping for anything.
I know.
When you have to write a song like it's your job, it's a terrible predicament.
That will kind of like come into something else that our good friend David Hamburger, and if you guys don't know David Hamburger, I started reading articles about guitar from David Hamburger in the 90s.
Same here.
And we're the same age. So like I was teaching and like reading his stuff, and he's just a guy that I constantly go and check out David's videos online as well as to check out like, okay, I'm just doing the same finger style thing over and over again, so I'll check out some David stuff. And but he asks a really great question, and it says, what was it like writing for our short-lived songwriters meeting? And what we're talking about right now, everybody, is those things that you hear about, especially from people from Austin, of songwriter games where we get a prompt like, you know, the first one that pops into mind is the one I know that you did for your new album, which is General Store, which was our prompt.
That was you, I think, that came up with that prompt.
No, believe me, I was definitely not the person who
Really?
said furniture and ammo.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't think so. I was like, how are we possibly supposed to write something from furniture and ammo? But
No
everybody
shit.
did. We all had a week, and we all had to write a song. Hands down, I thought yours was like, I mean, and it's also not about really writing the best song. It's about keeping the creative juices flowing, right?
Yes, it is.
So if you could, you know, he asked if you could play something from a prompt and talk about what it was like writing for our short-lived songwriters meeting. And we're at a good spot right now. If you feel like playing a song from the album, you don't have to play General Store. You can play anything you want. You can play something new if that came from a prompt. Or you could just talk about it for a minute before you play another song.
Let's do it. You know what one I really liked that took me a while. I don't mean I sound funny saying, "Oh, I really like my song," but I like
no,
how
there's nothing wrong with that.
I think it came together well, and I think it actually worked out well on the album, which is a whole different thing. You know, you can write a song and I can play it solo and it can be great, and I can play with a band and it just bombs, and I can never.
I'm right there with you.
You know what it's like. But there was one, and it was called, I think it was called "Piece of Cake," and I think that was you.
That was me.
Okay, so I remember going, like, it took all week and it stressed me out, and I didn't get anything done on it. And I remember coming off onto William Cannon from 35 and just going home being like, man, what am I going to do? And I started singing a monotone melody, and it was just, and I remember recording it on my phone at the stoplight, and it's like, I was like, I gotta write a song in under an hour and record it too. And that's how it started. So I just started writing about how I'm never going to get this goddamn song done. and that's what it was. And I remember that's what I submitted, and I have the recording somewhere. And my friend Paige DeChausse from Reverend Few
Right.
was listening to the links we were posting, and she said, hey, I really like that one. And I remember hating it, like just being pissed at myself. And anyway, so down the road, I'll play it. I'll just play what it turned into, because it turned into many different things with much different music, and now it's track one on the record.
All right. We're going to listen, everybody. I'm going to put up your website, and I'm also going to put up your Bandcamp. And we're going to listen to a song from Eric Bettencourt, everybody.
So, like, this riff came, like, I feel like a couple summers ago. At a totally different time. I was just trying to find the right music, so. Shuffling through the debris, the next explosion is inevitable. They say the limits and the boundaries we impose on ourselves are merely theoretical. 'Cause trying to whittle down infinity, it's like trying to wave away the air. Or to wake up in the morning after falling through your dreams, unsure if you'll ever land. I am lost in the woods, and I keep searching your face. All the feeling is gone, if it even existed in the first place. They say the obstacles
face are merely symptoms of the baggage we keep. Don't it kinda make you wanna grab 'em by the throat and hold 'em under till you're sure they'll never breathe again? 'Cause trying to whittle down infinity, it's like trying to water down a stream, or to wake up in the morning holding on to all those things that you found in your dreams. I am lost in your song, and I can't find the beat. I think the notes are all wrong, the bridge lay in the street. Mama, take me home. Take me home. Take me home. Here you go, Plank. Nobody said the path would be a piece of cake. I'll go back to being lonely, you'll go back to making stupid mistakes. I am lost in the woods, and I'm still searching your face. All the feeling is gone, if it even existed in the first place. Oh, baby, take me home. Yeah, take me home. Take me home. It's abbreviated a little bit.
You gotta have a little bit of this, because, you know, we don't get much of this anymore, so you gotta give it a little...
I know. Comes to us in pasted emoticons.
Yeah, now
usually.
they're... Well, and smatterings, you know, if we're doing like a happy hour concert or something like that. Oh, we got some nice emojis coming in
There
for
we go.
that, though. See, now that's perfect. So for those of you who are following along, and for David Hamburger who asked that awesome question, it's like, you know, that all came from just a piece of cake, right? But then it was like, how many iterations did it go through before?
Well, there was a whole different song, an entirely different song with something called the Purdy beat. It's just like drum beat, like ba-ba-da-ka-ta-ba-ba-da-da. It's just
Oh yeah, the Bernard Purdy halftime shuffle.
exactly. So I redid it over that with a baritone doing like a, and it was, I can't remember what it was. It was one of these like, it was like some Leo Kottke thing. And it was
Oh, yeah,
it
kinda
was
busy.
It was very busy.
Busy
And
but
so
beautiful.
I sat with that for a few years and discussed mostly, but ended up finding that other riff. And I recorded that within like 2 or 3 days. Tracked it, sent the drums to Mike Meadows, who's great.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a great setup. He's a great player. Man, he shot those back, and I probably had it mixed within probably 5 or 6 days of starting it, and just it went on the record. And that's how I like doing music, though. I never get that opportunity that quickly, so.
Yeah. Well, there's something like I'm horrible at those songwriter games. I find that my Patreon, not to plug, is much better for me because it's like one cover, one original per month. I know I can handle that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I have lots to choose from because I'm constantly writing and co-writing, and I've got a lot of wells to draw from. But every single week trying to turn in something, and most people just don't care. They're just like, yeah, well, Jeff, I don't turn something great in every week. I just turn something in. I'm like, all right, well, that's a little more difficult for me, but I get it. Hey, Brady, by the way, thanks again for saying that I'm made your top on Spotify. That means the world to me. And don't forget that playlist, Roots Rock and Americana. Eric's on it. I put Magnetic Fields on it. I was going to put General Store on it because that was one of my 4 favorite. But when we did Magnetic Fields for the intro today, I was like, oh, man, that's perfect. But Brady asks, how does it feel when you hear another artist's record and you hear one of your songwriter group themes? And what I can say real quick to that is it's kind of awesome because we're connected. Because, I mean, like, the first one I ever did was with Bob Schneider, and it was Bob Schneider and Jason Mraz and Billy Harvey and Steve Poltz and Matt the Electrician. And I remember, like, I would watch them pick a theme, and somebody be reading a newspaper and they'd go, oh, that's it. And then Steven and him would pick the thing. And then now to this day, 15 years later, hearing one of Bruce Hughes' songs and one of Steve Poltz's songs, it just happened to be a confluence where they all ended up having a song with that title. Do you have to mention Brady's question again and kind of go through it with yours? Have you had the experience of? I mean, I know with David Hamburger, I definitely heard some. I think his was a random array, and
Well,
that
you-
ended up
was it-
in my song.
So random array was my phrase.
Oh, it was that ended
Yeah,
up
yeah,
in
yeah.
Live Today on my Soul
Yes,
Slide album.
I was just you were gonna ask me, and I was gonna tell you. Yeah, yours. As far as I know, Hamburger. There was one of mine and something of his. I think maybe, but I can't remember if it's a song he still plays. But yeah, random array. We were I think either on the phone or texting, and I was reading National Geographic, and it was about the random array telescopes
Oh, cool.
that they were, for studying stars and stuff. And yeah, that was that. And I remember that was the cue I dropped, and you were like, "Let's go with it," because that was the
Yeah.
first one.
Oh, it was the very first one we did.
Yeah, because I wrote a whole song, and it's a good instrumental. The words are stupid, so I should go find that again.
And you know what else, man? Sometimes it's just an instrumental. Do you put instrumentals on your album? I do every once in a while.
Well, yeah, on Secret Songs, Secret People, I got one instrumental called Secret Songs, and then I just released that record and put one called My Lady Tuesday. At the end of it, there's a bonus track which wasn't on the original, which is all instrumental. I should
Right
do
on.
more. I got enough of them. Probably.
David Hamburger says, my random array is on my still to be released next record, but it's not the title. Well, mine wasn't the title either, and that's kind of the fun of it too. It doesn't even have to be in the song. It could just be something, and that's
Yeah.
what I think people really, really like about it. All right, well, we're going to get to some other stuff. We've got questions from some other people. Now, your friend Andrea McGee, you spent a lot of time with Andrea. Andrea from not only from ULA, but also from Beetroot Revival. Ben Jones is here from Beetroot Revival hanging out. Andrea asked a great question, and I love it because I know that, you're a little bit more health conscious than a lot of people, and part of that's by, things that kind of affect you, and so you kind of have to be, but then you also have like you just like it. And one of her questions is, what's one of your favorite yoga poses?
One of my favorite yoga poses? Oh, I don't know. God, it's a whole. You got to do them all. I don't know.
Oh, really? So you kind of feel like rather than like there's one, you're not like I really like,
It's not just one. Now, if I had to pick one, I just like trying to bending over with your knees straight. I mean, it feels so good. Like I have really tight hamstrings, so that's been one of my goals. And it's helped my lower back like incredibly. I used to always have lower back. Well, I broke my back about in like mid 2000s, and the doctor said in about a decade it's going to hurt again, and it did a lot, and it really humped me up a little bit. And a few years later, I got into yoga, and that just was a total game changer. It's awesome.
I gotta say, yoga and stretching, the small amount that I do has changed everything, because it's also about breathing. It's also about meditation. It's also about, as artists, whatever that sounds lofty, as artists, our inner voice just yaps and yaps and yaps and yaps.
Monkey
and
brain.
What's that?
It's the monkey brain.
Monkey brain, right? And things like, yoga, stretching, meditation, I can't believe they don't push it on us at an earlier age because of how really, really great and how it's all connected. But, okay, so a great answer is not just one pose, you just love stretching and it's all connected for you. Have you tried other things like Tai Chi or... Because that's like not less of a martial art and more of a dance.
I would love to do jiu-jitsu, probably Brazilian jiu-jitsu is kind of neat, but I don't really feel like grappling with sweaty dudes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm into
I sense a little bit of homophobia there. No, I'm just kidding.
I just don't want to. Even sweaty chicks, I don't want to do that.
There you go.
I guess it depends on what they look like, right? But no, but there's
Either
a
one.
there's a whole like these last years have been like so much in the self-development thing, because I had to figure out diet, and once I figured out my diet it made all the difference. Like it just changed so much. But like now it's like I'm kind of addicted to feeling good, and when I'm not feeling good, it just drives me bug shit. And so like so right now I'm huge into like I just read this book Matthew Walker Why We Sleep, and it's all the science behind sleeping, what it does for your muscles, for your memory, for your living longer. Like getting 8 hours of sleep is so key.
Oh, believe me, I could
it's
win me a
insane.
sleep battle. I'm a
You're
lover of
lucky.
sleep. I'm a lover of sleep, and I also drive my wife crazy in the fact that if we're just sitting there talking and I'm feeling very comfortable, if I want to, I can just go, and I'm out. I am out.
Well,
And I don't know if it's years of being on buses and having that sensory deprivation, or years of being in practice rooms next to giant instruments. Like there's an opera singer here and there's a tuba here, and you got to learn how to just tune stuff out. But for some reason, it's become very easy for me. But this is great because it also goes to someone you know named Alan. And
My brother?
yeah, yeah, got some questions from your brother, and it's
Really?
okay. I promise it's gonna be okay.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I like to stack the deck a little bit, you know what I mean, and get some good questions of the person that I'm gonna. And then it's also like, again, it's not my questions. I would never ask some of these questions.
Oh, here we
He
go.
was curious about you discussing the correlation between creativity and diet, and you kind of started there.
Well, if your head's not in order, if your body's not in order, your head can't be in order. That's an absolute truth that I mean, I just, I live by, and I try to, because I don't, like, anytime I just feel like crap, it just, I mean, it all falls from there. It's the house of cards, you know, like, so diet is huge. Like, I mean, I was somebody that figured out wheat adversely affects me pretty terribly. It took me a long time, but like once I cut that out, it made, I know some people can digest wheat fine, but I just can't. Like even like too many carbs just turns me into kind of a monster. Like it just sucks. It just makes me super moody and pissed off and all that. And I cut that out of my diet, and like I'm still moody and pissed off a lot, but like this much compared to like that, you know. So trying to figure out the rest of it. There's so much more to be done. That how much you exercise, you know, how much. It's basically how much anxiety can you get rid of by doing exercise, by doing diet, by meditating, by yoga, by, I mean, I went running this morning. It was 43 degrees, but I mean, I just had to do it because I haven't been for a while, and I'm starting to feel cagey. So that type of shit, like if you get that stuff down, like creativity comes when the anxiety's out there and you just have space in here to work. And so
Yeah.
it's all that stuff. It's all of it.
I saw a great quote also in that Jeff Tweedy book I've been reading.
Is it
That's,
the one more write one song?
Yeah, How to Write One
Yeah,
Song.
I wanna read
And
it.
it's great, man. It's like you can read it in a day. I'm almost done with it. I just started yesterday. And I'm not a huge Wilco guy or anything. I've always thought he was great. And like I'll hear stuff, but I don't have any albums or anything like that. I just constantly. I'm reading a book by Stephen King on writing too. That's incredible.
Oh, is it a new one, or is it the one from like 2002 or
It's
whatever?
from the late '90s.
Yeah, that's an awesome book. I've actually was
It's
looking at
incredible.
that, thinking of rereading it just like a couple days ago.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But Jeff Tweedy was talking about exercise and how important it was to him, and he's like, I don't look like the best specimen in the world, but I'm pretty healthy now, and which also has been a thing for me. It's like you clear out all the drugs and alcohol from the past and all that stuff, and you get a lot of time on your hands. First of all, but then you also just like with me, I just wanted to eat. Because it was like, oh, this is the only drug I have left. So it's been very, very hard, to
Yeah.
get into the exercise and to get out of eating too much. But one thing he said that I loved was, he's like, you want to write a song? Take a walk. And I think he's right because, for so many of us, you take a walk without headphones, and your mind is just kind of like, my wife talks a lot about Shinrin Roku, I think, and I know I'm saying that wrong. It's a Japanese term. Doctors in Japan will actually prescribe you need a forest bath.
Yeah.
And so they will say you need to take, walks through the forest because they spend so much time in the city. And so, we know when we're ready and we need a forest bath, and we kind of take them regularly, and it's been a really good thing. But specifically between creativity and diet, That's definitely one I can see, as being something that people don't really think about as much, but you've kind of had to.
Well, I've had to, but I mean, I'm also super sensitive to foods. Like I knew a long time ago dairy was bad for me, so it's like chop that out. And then I started cutting not wheat but gluten. Okay, well that's most everything with wheat. And then I just went a step further with the ketogenics, and it was like I just felt like I don't know what it's like to smoke crack, but I would assume it's something like I just started to feel. You just felt awesome all the time, and there didn't seem to really be a downside. And so
sounds more like heroin, but I'm just kidding. Sorry. I did not say that. Don't.
We're all
do
adults
drugs.
here.
Yes, we are. Kate Howard says Ray Bradbury's Zen and the Art of Writing is another brilliant book on writing. It's so funny. I never, because of the fact that writing has always been such a great thing. Books on musicians and books on writing, I stayed away from them. I felt like I was in the thick of it, and I was doing it. So why did I need to read about it? But a lot of the isolation this year, dealing with the COVID and stuff, I've kind of interspersed with my fiction, the occasional book on writing, and man, I've really gotten a lot out of it. Lee Doctari, who's on a lot, he didn't ask this today, but he often asks, "What are you reading?" And I've mentioned a couple of things that I've been reading. Man, I'm reading Hemingway, and I don't understand what anybody sees in it. I don't get it, man.
I like a lot of that.
I don't get it. I don't
Can't read
get
it
it
all
at
the
all.
time.
The guy just seems like a total jerk to me. Anyway,
It totally was.
he just I'm like, well, I don't have any connection to these people. I don't care about these people who are going to bullfights and talking about hoity-toity stuff. And every single one of them uses a racial slur, and every single one of them treats women
Sorry
like
about
crap. So what's the fun? But anyway, I'm trying. I'm 47 reading my first Hemingway, and but what are you reading right now that you're really digging?
Well, let's see. I just finished Conspiracy by Ryan Holiday. That was okay.
Yeah.
Like I like his writing. Actually, one of the things and I just finished Rum Diaries, because you saying you read a lot of fiction. I just don't read fiction at all.
Oh, I love it.
And the other day I was like, I mean, I used to read a lot, but I've just been reading mostly just books on breathing, like
Sure.
Wim Hof, James Nestor's book on breath, and the sleep ones, Steven Pinker, kind of dense shit.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about Pinker online.
Oh yeah,
Great mind.
And like,
Great mind.
oh my God, he's got to be like him and Yuval Noah Harari have to be the two most if I have to pick a couple specimens from Earth to send to the next beings, it's like those dudes. Like,
I would pick Yuval. I think I've read all the Yuval books, and I watch his talks. For those who don't know, Yuval Noah Harari, who wrote *Sapiens* and *Homo Deus* and 20 Questions for the 21st Century, 21 Questions. I think he's going to be our Noam Chomsky. I think he's our greatest thinker. Anyway, that's pretty high praise, and what the hell do I know? But, well, those are good things to read. Maybe we can put some of those in the comments for people to check out as well. Let's go through a little bit more. I want to go back to some kind of fun, light stuff, too, because we always get really good questions like this. Kate Howard asks, well, this is kind of a joke. She says, not a lot of people know that my given name is Nick Steele and that Jeff Plankenhorn is my stage name, because I just wanted something that drips from the tongue like honey, so I just went Plankenhorn. But she asks what's your real name, because Eric Bettencourt is obviously your stage name. I think she's kidding.
Well, she's not. I can't. I don't have anything off the top of my head.
Okay.
I just don't have any superhero names that I've ever
already
thought
yet.
of.
Well, keep working. You'll have one. You've got a superhero identity in there.
Hold on, there was one.
Thank you, ATX Quintero, by the way, who says Hemingway novels are a bunch of privileged twits getting drunk and fighting. That's all I got from it so far, man. I am so with you. I'm gonna read some more and check it out. But my first novel, I'm like, why does anybody? He writes a good story, but it's not one that I'm interested in.
So Jeff, I just thought of my name. I had thought of a name, and I think of things and just tell people like Ben Jones and Jimenez to make them laugh. So I basically said it was my porn name, but
of course.
This could work. So Dude, D-U-D-E, Dude Diligence. I got Jimenez to crumple up on that one pretty good.
You should take out dude. It shouldn't be due diligence because that's hard to say. It should be due diligence.
Well, it's a name, so you
Or
need a
dude
stupid...
illigent. What about dude illigence?
I mean, the ship has sailed on that one. I got a huge laugh.
It might have to. We might have to. Actually, Ricky Root Beer wasn't commercial enough, so Eric Bettencourt it is. I think that's what we're talking about. Lee Doctari is Matt Chisel, and I like that. I like that a lot. Of course, we have Paige Turner on here as well. Let's go. Okay, but seriously, sorry, folks. Kate Howard says, "How many instruments do you play?" Which, by the way, I think that with those of us who are multi-instrumentalists, and I count myself as a jack of all trades and master of absolutely none, for me it was always just like, my big brother said, every guitar you own should be a new gig. It was like another gig that I could get in the studio or another thing that I could do. So he was like, I will kick your butt if you ever have 5 Strats or 5 Martins. He was like, every single guitar that you get. And then he was like, you can play anything if you have enough time. And for some stupid reason, I believed him. And I think that, I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like I have no idea how many instruments I play. It's not a lot, but I have lots of instruments around that I get a sound out of. What's your take on that? And Kate just asked specifically, how many instruments do you play? Is that an easy question?
I can't give a number. I mean, ones I don't do is I hate accordions, and no woodwinds, and no really, like, I've messed around with violins and stuff, but most of the other ones.
Do you hate playing them or do you hate the sound?
It's both. That's a miserable instrument. It's like holding like a dead baby. It's just like falling out of your hands. I just hate
Where's
those
Oliver Steck when we need him? Also, what about Flaco Jimenez or the button accordion players or like Joe Guzman or any of these cats? You never really vibed when they would play it?
No, I've never even dug Zydeco, which is probably the coolest music you can get with one of those.
Zydeco is pretty cool. And I do like it. I will say this. I can't stand being in a band with vibes.
Yeah, they're stupid. Glockenspiels. I don't like any of that.
I don't mind a marimba. I don't mind a glockenspiel on like a Bruce Springsteen song. I actually use glockenspiel on Sleeping Dogs. We went bing, 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 bing. But
it's the only one I forward through.
Vibes? Is it?
No.
Okay. Vibes is for me, I can't stand vibes because when you hit the vibes with a mallet, you get 2 pitches. It's like a carillon. There's the sound of the mallet making noise as well as the sound of the bar making noise. And the sound of the mallet making noise is out of tune. So like there's this constant contrapuntal, atonal music going on when you're standing next to a vibes player. And I'm like, how do you not hear that other melody that's just awful?
Well, yeah, that's why they've been marginalized to mostly jazz music. 'Cause people are like, well, this sucks, but it must be good because these smart people are doing it. And that's what happens. That's what jazz is.
Now, I'm a little more altruistic about music then, because I kind of feel like everything that I don't like, somewhere down the road, I'm going to hear something and I love it.
No, it's totally true.
You know?
Totally true.
And you're right, Adrian, mega music nerd talk right now. We're doing it. It's for sure. Kate Fleming, I missed your question when I did the refresh, so if you have a chance and you're still here, please put that question back in and I'll try and get to it. Man, there's some funny stuff here I really don't want to get to. Wow, we're already in the last 10 minutes,
I can't
too.
see.
So.
I'm not really seeing much for comments, so I'm not seeing what you're seeing, I guess.
Oh.
Because I want some funny stuff.
Yeah, the usual chat is there. Oh, you want some funny stuff, huh?
Oh, yeah, bring it on.
Have you ever been fired from a job by a pedophile?
Yes! That's my brother sent that. Yeah, we used to work with this guy, Kirk. It was like doing hay. Have you ever done like baled hay? Most miserable shit in the
That's
world.
a horrible. That's almost like I would put baling hay up with digging fence posts.
Yeah, or concrete,
Drilling
or doing
fence posts.
insulation in the middle of summer.
Horrible. way to live,
Well,
and a job that you should be paid $50 an hour minimum for.
We ended up doing. Growing up, we had a huge acre, like 400-acre farm. So we'd often have to rotate these fields, and so that was some of the most miserable, shitty work. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And the dude who ran it was this total. He turned out to be a pedophile. Like down the road, he gets sent to jail, but he's just such a d-bag.
So you didn't know
Hated
it at
that
the
guy.
time, thankfully. And were you young? Was this man around children? Is this
Well,
like...
we were in high school. I don't remember what it was, but I can't remember. Like I came to the job late or something, but not really. Like we were on a break and I had to fix my car, and I went to the shop, and the guy took a while, and I came back, and he bitched, and I think I ended up telling him fuck off anyways. Like I hated this guy.
We're trying to keep the swearing down, even though we're on cable. It's okay, but we're keeping
okay.
it down. That's okay.
Well, that's definitely probably what I said.
It was a direct quote.
Yeah.
Well,
If I remember right.
Don't blame you at all. So you found out later, but he had already fired you years earlier.
Kind of. He kind of fired me from like our own job. It was pretty stupid. It was either we used to bale hay for a friend of our father's too, but it was like, yeah, whatever. I hated working for other people as it was. I'm not good at it.
Can I ask you one more question from your brother because I like it?
You're asking for it. But...
I can't wait to see what the answer of this is and why he's asking.
Yes.
What do you think of UFOs?
I think the new information and everything that's coming out is actually insanely interesting.
Do you think it's real?
I'm starting to have more of an open mind towards it. With a lot of the government, lots of government officials are starting to kind of come out in unison and trying to, and that we do have a lot of information that they got to start letting scientists have more access to. And it shouldn't be something if you want to check something out, it shouldn't damage somebody's career like it used to. You'd be ostracized just for mentioning, well, we should check this out. But, I mean, there's a lot of great pilots and generals. There's a lot of these people coming to the front saying, no, we actually have kind of some shit going on.
Well, I think there's absolutely two tacks that any logical human being can go on, and that is like, well, it's a pretty big universe.
Yep.
So the idea that we're alone is like, come on, you know. But at the same time, and then I think the other logical conclusion is there's going to be a lot of things that we can't explain that these people see because they're in, you know, these crazy situations.
Yeah.
And,
No oversight and like half of that black budget, like
yeah.
government stuff. It's insane.
Well, do you have anything that you follow? Do you listen to those late night AM radio stations or any of that stuff? I know Warren Hood. One time I was driving back from the Parade Ranch with Warren Hood, and he was like, "Did you listen to such and such?" And I was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And he was like, "Oh yeah, man, I listen to these crazy AM radio UFO conspiracy things on the way back." And
Yeah,
he
like
loves them.
Coast to Coast.
Yes, Coast to Coast was the one that we were listening to.
I'd listen to that for entertainment, like years
not
ago.
for
but
reality, not like you're thinking it's the real
I mean, you
deal.
can only listen to so much, like just BS about like shapeshifters and these like stupid little conversations they have, and they try to make it seem real to keep people engaged. But I think there's other outlets of actually finding really good, credible people. I mean, there's that. I don't know if people have seen the Bob Lazar movie that came out.
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah.
And his interviews are better. Like you can go on Rogan and a few other ones, and he's being interviewed. And I mean, it's tough to.
Oh, by the way, I am
story.
so done with Rogan. So
why? Because he went.
N-O spells no. There's 100 reasons.
Yeah.
I used to dig into that and be fine with it, but after Spotify, the millions of money that he got from Spotify, and the fact that he's just, oh man, he lost me. Smart guy, but he's gone off the res.
Yeah, I just like his I mean, he had Bill Burr on yesterday. That was a good conversation.
I used to like his conversations, but he went off the reservation.
Well, he went from
completely
from endorsing Bernie to like being Trump, all into Trump. That was hard to take.
Yeah. I was done
like,
before that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't put much stock in it. He's just got good guests. I like him.
Yeah, he is good guest, but there's plenty of other podcasts out there with,
tons, yeah.
non-misogynist, non-assholes. So I'll stick with that. There's plenty of other people to listen to out there that are great. Anyway, my humble opinion, you like the Joe, you watch the Rogan, you listen to the Rogan. Kate, you were just asking about a run, but it was about settling on a melody. And you like the cursing. I'll come back to the recording, Isabella meeting. I'm so sorry, Kate. I'm having a hard time understanding what that question is. Maybe we'll get it offline when we're done. We're almost done here on the television part of the show, and we'll stay online for everybody to make sure we answer as many of these questions as we can. Once again, my guest is Eric Bettencourt. We're on Austin Music TV, and we're really thankful. Thanks for everybody who throws us a tip. I always split my tips with my guest. It's nice to have a little gas money for us underemployed musicians. It really means a lot. Thanks again also for sharing this post. These are archived. You can see them on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and of course on Austin Music TV every week. My guest next week is Scott Strickland, and then after that is great podcaster and rocker Johnny Gowdy. And after that will be Gary Nicholson, incredible writer of, I don't know, over 500 songs recorded. Great hits. And then Shiny Ribs after that. So, nobody good. Good people. Yes, Pat, the Venmo in the it's in the comments up there. So thank you. And so's the other one. Okay, so the one question I ask every one of my guests, Eric, and I make sure I try and get this in before we got about two minutes to answer this one before we go offline or on to online. What is your guilty pleasure music that people would not expect that you listen to?
Probably like I don't really listen. Man, all I listen to is audiobooks and podcasts. But like I still love like that CeeLo Green stuff.
Oh, so like the early
Gnarls
stuff.
Yeah,
so yeah, and I really love the albums before too. Like the very first CeeLo Green. What is it called? CeeLo and His Magnificent Somethings. The one with Bad Motherfucker on it. Oh, so
it's
incredible.
I don't know. He got too good. He got too big for his own good. It just became sickening to listen to after a while. But it's so freaking good. Like somehow that happens sometimes when somebody just gets like way too good. It's like too much sugar. Just can't do anymore.
Is your live stream right at the same time as mine is? Some people are saying check out Eric's live stream this evening, and I'm just going to plug them both because they can go back and forth between us. What time is your live stream and it's on YouTube and Facebook?
No, I've been doing the Facebook at pretty much the same time since, I don't know what, March, whenever I started, but 7 p.m. on Tuesdays.
7 p.m. Central on Tuesdays.
Yeah, you're 8.
I'm at 8 p.m. Central on Tuesdays, so that does work out. Good. So everybody also, you can do that. So thank you so much, Eric, for being here. We're going offline in about 10 seconds. Thank you, Austin Music TV. Thank you, Eric Bettencourt. We're going to stay online with everybody to answer more questions.
Cool.
All right, now we are officially just online right now.
Go swear now.
Now that we're online, not only can we swear, but we can also make sure we get all the questions.
Take our clothes off.
I mean, if you really want to. This is Eric's Bandcamp as well. I really, now that I'm off TV, I can say this because we can't do call to action on TV, everybody, because of the station. I love his record. I hope you get it, is what I'm saying. And you can see the Bandcamp right there. And also, I would love it if Danielle, if you put the information there as well. Danielle's been really great about putting in the tips information, but she's also really great at, like, if there's a video or if there's something, or you can follow Eric. We'll put those in as well. Let me go through these questions real quick.
Sure.
Oh, this is another question from Hamburger that I love. What did you learn about fingerstyle guitar from arranging and playing all those cool cover tunes at solo gigs on 6th Street? And I love that question because I know that taking other people's songs and kind of figuring out solo versions of them, such a great thing.
It's one of the best things you like. You always have a jigsaw puzzle to work on. Always. Like, here, this is like, whoops. Here a second. Like Strawberry Fields Forever, right? You got
sure.
all you have to do to start is to get a Chet Atkins thing, you know, like.
Yeah.
So that's your rhythm. Whoops, sorry. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I could do this shit all day. Is all like I know all the melody because it took me so long to get that. Like, you know, like so, like you can take any song, you got the chords, figure out how to do the. I mean, I do this. This is what I do on the piano because it's like. I'll just sit there, work one chord, find melody, and from there, like once you get that single note stuff, like your fingers start finding other notes and start finding other ways of prettying it up. And
absolutely.
Take any song ever, even an easy song, and just any guitar player in the world, just do that. Keep the chord going, figure out the melody. Like
you know, it's interesting
no end.
You say that because when I was working on my Patreon a few months ago, I got a call from somebody who said, hey, I want you to do this Center for Spiritual Living thing, and we need you to do a Beatles tune. And I was like, man, I know 100 Beatles tunes, but I've never covered one. And so... So I made up my own version of, but if your heart breaks, don't wait, turn me away.
Yeah.
Wait till I come back to your side. And I did the same thing. I just put the melody on top.
Yep.
And it sounds a lot more... I mean, tell me that I'm not wrong on this. It's not as hard as you think it is.
No.
You're strumming a chord and you look for that note on top.
Yep.
And then you just move around your fingers. And when it's like a crazy, crazy stretch, don't do it. When it's a crazy stretch, move to something else. Like people say, oh, you make it look so easy. Not to me, but they see these people and they go, there was a great video with Joe Pass that I mention a lot where people say, oh man, you know, you make it, how does this fly around? And Joe Pass, in his funny Italian accent, goes, oh, I don't like to play anything that's hard. And we're like, you're Joe Pass, you know? And it's like, but if you slow down everything he's doing, there's no crazy stretches.
Yeah.
He's just playing chords with melody on top and just taking the time to work it out very, very slow.
Well, to circle back on that, I mean, one of my favorite players ever for doing this is David Hamburger.
Me too.
Like, that dude gets, like...
chord melodies.
He gets the chord
Brilliant.
melodies, and he's got all the little flowering notes in between, whereas...
Sorry we're nerding out, people, but this is really good stuff.
But one thing he actually taught me was... And I remember it just kind of made sense all of a sudden, is it's like, well, you're playing in C, or you're playing in G mostly, or maybe E. And he didn't, I'm just paraphrasing, but I remember him saying, like, well, kind of like once you get, like in G, you might be playing G, but there's only so many places you can go. So after you kind of get those down, they start to become a voice on their own.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, the last one I just figured out was, and it's just really nothing to do after a while, is like a... That was the hard part, So it's just...
So really in the whole thing, there was one trick chord that you had to work on. The rest already just fell into your fingers right underneath.
Yeah.
It's such a great thing. If we can, Danielle, just because... please put in the comments, I can say this now, David Hamburger's YouTube page and a way to find him, because not only is he our friend and we love his music, but he's such a great educator.
His emails are some of my favorite too. He writes these little, and I've been bugging him for years.
I don't follow those, so I'm going to have to get on.
They're awesome. They're like these little blog stories, and I think he's been putting them up on his site because I've been bugging him about it for like 5 years because they're so good. Like just have a blog roll, and I think he has been though.
Danielle just put it up in there. That's great. If you aren't on Facebook, go to Facebook or on YouTube. You should get this. Maybe I could find a way to copy it. No, it's not letting me. Anyway, thanks for putting that up on Facebook. Fantastic. You know, that also goes into one other question from our friend Ben Balmer. And Ben asked this question. In the past couple of years, I know you've been focused on playing piano, myself included. And, but he was talking about you, of course. Curious as to how it has affected your songwriting.
I don't think it has yet. It's affected more the way I think when I record. Well, it's the same thing. Like I love taking so when I play solo, something I've learned to do is for a solo section is I'll just replay the melody in my own song. So instead of a solo, I can kind of start with the melody, and that's that. And so on the piano, I just do the same thing we were talking about before. I'll just kind of, that's a melody to one of my songs, and I'll just figure out how to kind of switch the chords around it. But
Yeah.
as far as, okay, actually, the only way it does tie in with writing is through my recording process, which is often where I get my ideas. And so I've just
Does that mean that you don't write on the piano?
I do not. No,
Really?
No, actually, no, I do. I have one song I've been working on lately.
I'm like, come on, that's gotta help, because it's like every time you write from a different instrument, in my experience, it's always great because you would never write the same thing. You pick different keys, you pick jumping to different things because your hands already know different shapes and stuff, so it's kind of fun. Sometimes I'll be writing with somebody and I'll go, yeah, you stay on guitar, I'll get on piano. Even though I'm not a great pianist. Because it will just make me think in a different world and make me pick some other, kind of things.
Yeah.
So I bet it affects you more than you think.
Yeah, no, I've got a couple that, come to think of it, started fully on piano that aren't done yet, but
Can you play me a melody of something that you started on piano that's not done?
yeah, and I apologize for I was supposed to have a guy tune it, and then he just like bailed on me.
I love out-of-tune pianos.
And I don't remember the lyrics, but it's just one of these. I lost my mind down the wishing well, trying to baby. Whoops, sorry. Been a while. It's one of those.
I love that.
Just one of those. It's kind of goofy, but I don't know. It might just be a neat slapstick kind of sounding song.
We should definitely spend some time, because I've been spending so much time playing piano, and I've been like, I kind of balance it with like, okay, I'm going to learn some stuff. I'm going to learn a song by this person. Okay, I'm going to learn a Leon Russell song, then I'm going to write a song. And then I'm going to learn a song by my buddy Miles Zuniga on piano, and then I'm going to write a song. And then I'm going to learn a song by Carole King, and then I'm going to write a song. And I'm trying desperately to just get, I feel like a kid again, because I'm not great, not that I'm great on the other ones, because I'm not well-versed and comfortable, on the instrument. So I feel childlike passion and
there's
excitement.
so much room for discovery. That you are, whether you think you're great or not, and sure, there's always somebody better to compare you to. You're a master of the guitar. You are, you're known for that. It's not debatable. But with the piano, it's like our hands weren't made to do that. And we've got bass and chords on one hand. So you got bass guitar, you got a rhythm guitar on one freaking hand. And then you got this hand, which is playing this, but you can also be playing notes and doing the like soloing and shit.
Yep. I love playing
awesome.
melodies with my left hand, and I love crossing over, and I love finding things. You know what I did the other day, man, and I suggest this to you? Because I'm such good friends with Scrappy Judd Newcomb, for my Patreon last month, I did 2 songs, one original and one cover, inspired by Faces, because of Ian McLagan and all of his time with Ian McLagan. Now, Scrappy didn't do anything but, listen to the songs and kind of give me a vibe, and like he helped me a little bit on the mix. He was like, oh man, maybe if you kind of do this with the guitar and the piano. And what ended up happening was I just started really falling in love with Mac's style of rock and roll piano. And it's just so great, man. And it's really intuitive playing. He's a great organ player as well, but I really focused on his piano for like a month.
Nice.
You know, and I mean, it's just like I feel like a kid again. It's so much fun, and it's kind of the luxury of being locked in and trying to be safe during a pandemic. What am I going to do? I'm going to work. I've got tons of work to do. I've got 2 shows a week. I've got lessons. I've got this. I got that. I've got studio demos. When I'm having fun, I'm learning some stuff on piano. Anyway.
Well, even with all the hours in the day, I don't know if you've noticed this. Like, I always thought during my whole life, like, oh, if I could ever get to the point where, let's just say I'm a multimillionaire and I don't have to leave the house if I want, I can do whatever I want. There's still not enough hours in the day. There just
we'd
isn't.
still do this. My wife asked a couple of weeks ago. She was like, "Is there ever a day when you don't work?" And I was like, "Well, I don't think of it as work." And I also am really, really good at. I'm gonna pick up a guitar or something or work on a song if I have a chance. But that I do kind of have to have an office because otherwise I won't live. I'll just do this stuff all the time. And it is good to go take a forest bath or, you know, do other things. Otherwise you don't have anything to write about. It's like you just sit around and play music all day. You're going to write about musicians and what it's like to play music, and that gets boring after a while. Eric, this has been really fun, man. Stay on with me. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the tips. Let's do a couple more things. Okay, so right here you see Eric Bettencourt's website. You also see his Bandcamp. That's usually the best way if you really want to get money in the hands of somebody who's a musician. You buy their music right there. Thank you again for the tips. I'll put that up one last time. Oop, that's the wrong one. That's the one from my thing. Here's the right one. Technology. And we'll split the tips today. Thank you for all of your great, great, great questions. And thank you to Austin Music TV for always doing us so great. This has been another 20 Question Tuesdays, and we're just about to sign off. Brady, I will happily write a tune on Vibes if somebody buys me some Vibes. I'm happy to do it. All right. And I got to sign up for David Hamburger's emails because I'm obviously missing out big time on that.
They're badass.
So somebody please sign me up for that. Kate, you know my email. Just sign me up. All right. I'll talk to everybody. And thank you again, Eric. This has been great. Stay on with me, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
See y'all later. Have a great week, everybody. And check out both of our live streams tonight. I'm going to be playing some new music, and I know Eric's going to be playing stuff off his record and all sorts of stuff. So we'll see y'all later. Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Jeff.